What if I told you that your future isn't shaped by luck, talent, or timing, but by your focus? Every single thought you feed your mind is building the reality you're about to live. You want to change your life? Start by changing your focus, because what you focus on expands. Every time you dwell on what's wrong, your problems, your fears, your failures, you're training your brain to find more of that. Your mind is a filter. It doesn't decide what's true or false. It simply confirms what you believe and what you focus on most. When you focus on gratitude, opportunity, growth, suddenly the same world looks different. You start noticing chances you used to overlook. People feel different around you because energy is contagious. Focus isn't just mental, it's magnetic. Your focus is your future. Think about it. Every great achievement started with someone obsessing over an idea. They weren't distracted by doubt or comparison. They directed their attention like a laser. That's W. High focus is not just about concentration. It's about creation. You're already powerful. You just keep wasting your power on things that drain you, the opinions of others, the mistakes of your past, the fears of your future. What if you took that same energy and pointed it toward your goals? When you wake up, your mind immediately looks for something to focus on. Most people choose stress. You can choose progress. A. Ignore what doesn't grow you and watch what happens. Your energy shifts, your decisions change, your entire reality transforms. You can't control everything, but you can control what you focus on, and the moment you do, your future starts to change. What you focus on determines the reality you live in. Every thought you allow to take root in your mind shapes the way you see, feel, and experience the world around you. If you constantly focus on what's missing, what's broken, or what's wrong, your mind begins to act like a spotlight that only highlights problems. It becomes your default lens, and soon all you can see are reasons to feel frustrated or stuck. But when you train your focus toward what's working, what's possible, and what you can control, that same spotlight begins to illuminate opportunities that were always there, just waiting for you to notice them. The power isn't in the situation. It's in what you choose to focus on within it. Imagine walking through a garden. Some areas are overgrown with weeds, others are full of blooming flowers. If you spend all your time staring at the weeds, that's all you'll remember about the garden. But if you shift your focus to the flowers, the entire experience changes. The scent, the colors, the energy. The weeds didn't disappear, they just stopped being the center of your attention. That's how the mind works. You can't control everything that grows in it, but you can control what you nurture. When you focus on what you fear, you invite hesitation. Your brain starts gathering evidence to prove that your fear is valid. You'll notice more reasons to play small, to stay safe, to give up before you even begin. On the other hand, when you focus on what excites you, what drives you, what's possible, your mind begins working to support that reality. It filters information, people, and moments that align with your focus. It's not magic, it's neuroscience. Your brain is wired to validate what you believe. Our focus says, I can figure this out, your brain starts searching for ways to make it true. This is why two people can face the same challenge but experience it in completely different ways. One sees a dead end, the other sees a lesson. One focuses on the pain, the other focuses on the purpose. The difference isn't luck or talent, it's attention. Focus is the silent architect of your reality. What you repeatedly give mental energy to becomes the foundation of your beliefs, and your beliefs build the walls of your future. When you shift your focus from what's wrong to what's within your control, something powerful happens. You take back your power. You stop being a passive observer of life and become an active creator of it. Every time you redirect your thoughts from fear to faith, from complaint to gratitude, you are rewriting your future one focus at a time. It's not about ignoring reality, it's about choosing which part of reality you want to magnify. Your focus is your steering wheel. Wherever you turn it, your life follows. And when you finally understand that, you realize that the future isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create with every thought you choose to focus on today. Your mind doesn't show you the world as it truly is. It shows you the world as you are. Everything you experience passes through the filter of your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. You could stand in the same place, see the same events, and yet interpret them completely differently depending on your focus. This is why some people see challenges as opportunities while others see only problems. The world outside you isn't the main issue. It's the lens inside you that determines how you see it. When you fill that lens with negativity, self-doubt, and fear, the entire world begins to look heavy and unfair. But when you train your mind to focus on purpose, gratitude, and possibility, you start to notice solutions where you once saw walls. Think of your mind as a CA. Mirror lens. Whatever you focus on becomes sharper, brighter, and more detailed, while everything else fades into the background. If you focus on what's missing, your mind zooms in on every lack and amplifies it. If you focus on what you already have and what you can build from it, the image changes completely. The scenery doesn't change, the focus does. And that small shift creates a massive difference in how you feel and how you act. Your mind is constantly filtering billions of pieces of information every second. It can't show you everything, so it picks and chooses what seems most important based on your dominant thoughts. This is called selective perception. If you're always telling yourself you're unlucky, your brain will highlight every event that proves you right and ignore the moments that prove otherwise. It's not because life is against you. It's because your mind is programmed to confirm what you already believe. The moment you change the story you tell yourself, the filter starts to change too. You begin noticing new paths, new people, new opportunities that were invisible before because your focus was locked on limitation. The truth is, your focus trains your brain. Whatever you feed it becomes its default response. Focus on problems long enough and your brain becomes a master at finding more of them. Focus on growth and learning, and it becomes a seeker of progress. This is why successful people don't necessarily have easier lives. They have trained minds. They've built a filter that looks for lessons instead of losses, chances instead of challenges. The difference isn't external, it's internal. Every emotion you feel, every action you take, and every decision you make is influenced by what your mind chooses to see. When you start shifting your focus from what's not working to what could work, you reprogram your perception. You stop reacting to life and start responding to it. You become less controlled by circumstances and more guided by vision. The world around you begins to feel lighter, not because it changed, but because your focus did. When your mind becomes your ally instead of your enemy, the entire world opens up in ways you couldn't see before. Energy flows where attention goes. Whatever you give your attention to becomes stronger, louder, and more present in your life. If you constantly focus on problems, your energy becomes heavy, and you start attracting more of the same. But when you choose to focus on progress, gratitude, and purpose, that same energy begins to lift you, motivate you, and move you forward. Focus is like sunlight. When it's scattered, it feels warm but weak. When you concentrate it through a lens, it can ignite fire. That's what happens when you direct your mental and emotional energy towards something meaningful. It becomes unstoppable. Every time you think about something, you're feeding it energy. The more attention you give it, the more it grows. That's why negative thoughts can feel overwhelming, because you've unknowingly been nurturing them. But the moment you shift your attention toward growth, possibility, and action, your energy transforms. It's not about pretending problems don't exist, it's about refusing to give them your constant focus. When your focus is consumed by what's wrong, you drain your power. When your focus is directed toward what's possible, you multiply it. Energy is contagious. The way you think and focus affects not only how you feel, but also how others respond to you. When you walk into a room full of people and your energy radiates positivity, confidence, and calm, others feel it. They might not understand why, but they're drawn to it. On the other hand, when your focus is on stress, fear, or frustration, your energy reflects that, and it pushes opportunities and people away. Focus isn't just about thinking, it's about transmitting. You are constantly sending out signals based on what you think about most, and life mirrors those signals back. K to you. Successful people understand this deeply. They protect their focus the way a warrior protects their weapon. They don't let gossip, comparison, or negativity hijack their attention because they know that wherever their attention goes, their life follows. They understand that focus is fuel. If you spend your day focused on what you can't control, you burn through that fuel and end up exhausted but nowhere closer to your goals. But when you channel that same fuel into intentional action, you start creating momentum. Every small step, every disciplined choice compounds over time because your energy is flowing in one direction instead of being scattered in 100. Your focus determines the quality of your energy, and your energy determines the quality of your life. When you learn to guide your attention toward what matters, your purpose, your growth, your goals, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't. You start showing up differently. You start thinking clearly, acting ball, D-lie, and attracting better outcomes. Focus isn't about control, it's about direction. It's choosing where to send your life force every single day. When you master that, you stop being drained by distractions and start being driven by purpose. The more disciplined your focus, the more powerful your energy becomes, and soon, that energy starts shaping your reality in ways that feel almost effortless. Focus is a choice, not a circumstance. Every day, distractions compete for your attention: notifications, news, doubts, fears, and other people's opinions. You can't eliminate them, but you can decide how much power you give them. Most people think they've lost focus because life is too chaotic, but in reality, they've just forgotten that focus is something you choose, not something you wait to feel. You choose where to aim your mind, just like you choose where to look, and every choice compounds into habits, and those habits eventually shape your entire direction in life. When you wake up in the morning, your mind immediately begins searching for something to attach itself to. Some people let it wander toward worry. They check their phone, see a problem, and spend the rest of the day reacting. Others take control early. They pause, breathe, and decide what deserves their attention today. That small decision creates a massive difference in how the rest of the day unfolds. The person who chooses focus will experience calm, clarity, and progress. The one who lets the world decide for them will experience stress, distraction, and fatigue. Focus is not about having perfect conditions. It's about staying grounded even when things are imperfect. There will always be noise, interruptions, and moments that test your patience. But the ability to focus in those moments, to stay centered and choose what matters most, is what separates those who drift through life from those who direct it. You might not be able to control every situation, but you can always control what you drive your energy to. The mind is like a flashlight. If you shine it on chaos, you'll feel overwhelmed. If you shine it on clarity, you'll find direction. Choosing focus also means choosing discipline. It means saying no to distractions disguised as comfort. It means turning off the noise when everyone else is scrolling. It means focusing on your goals even when the results aren't immediate. The world rewards people who can stay consistent when others quit. And consistency isn't about motivation, it's about focus. It's reminding yourself again and again what's important and refusing to let your energy scatter toward what isn't. Some people think focus is a skill that only productive or successful people have, but the truth is it's available to everyone. The difference is awareness. Once you realize that your focus is a choice, you stop blaming circumstances. You stop saying, I can't focus because I'm busy, and start asking, what's truly worth my attention right now? You become intentional. You realize you have the power to shape your emotional state, your mindset, and your actions simply by deciding what to concentrate on. That's when everything begins to shift. You start to lead your thoughts instead of being led by them. You start to experience control, clarity, and progress, not because life got easier, but because you finally chose where your focus goes. Every thought you think is a seed planted in the soil of your mind, and over time, those seeds grow into the life you live. Most people underestimate how powerful their daily thoughts are. They treat them like harmless passing moments, but every repetition strengthens a belief, and every belief builds a behavior. What you feed your mind is what you will eventually feed your life. When you focus on fear, on what could go wrong, or on how others might judge you, you start creating a future built around hesitation. But when you focus on courage, on what you can learn, on what you can create, you begin a future filled with strength and momentum. Your mind is constantly recording and repeating what you tell it. It doesn't distinguish between what's helpful and what's harmful. It just takes whatever you focus on as truth. If your focus is on limitations, your brain begins filtering your world to confirm those limits. You'll notice obstacles instead of openings, setbacks instead of lessons. But when you begin to focus on potential, on growth, and on self-belief, your brain shifts to support that narrative. It starts finding evidence to reinforce that focus. Suddenly, You begin seeing possibilities that were always there but hidden behind the fog of fear. The thoughts you nurture the most become the identity you live by. A person who constantly focuses on doubt begins to identify as someone incapable. A person who focuses on consistency and effort begins to identify as someone resilient. The shift in focus changes not just what you do, but who you believe you are. And when your entity changes, your future naturally follows. The person who believes in possibility begins taking different actions, surrounding themselves with different people, and making different choices, all because they chose to focus on a different story. Your focus is the architect of your destiny. Every time you visualize your goals, speak about your dreams, or take small steps toward them, you're reinforcing that focus. You're watering the seeds of your future. But if you spend your days focused on negativity, gossip, or regret, you're watering weeds instead of flowers. And over time, those weeds take over your mental garden, leaving no room for growth. Protect your mind like a sacred space. Be intentional about what you expose it to, because every piece of information, every conversation, and every thought you entertain is either feeding your future or draining it. This is why it's so important to choose focus with awareness. You don't need to control every thought that crosses your ME. But you do need to decide which ones deserve your attention. The future is not built in one grand moment of success. It's built in the quiet, daily moments when you choose what to think about, what to believe, and what to ignore. Each of those choices plants a seed, and one day, when you look around at the life you've created, you'll see that it all started with the thoughts you chose to focus on. So here's the truth. Your life will always move in the direction of your focus. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to be intentional about what you give your energy to. Every thought, every word, every bit of attention is building something. The question is, are you building the life you want or the one you fear? If you keep focusing on the noise, you'll live in confusion. If you keep focusing on your limits, you'll live in hesitation. But the moment you shift your focus to growth, to gratitude, to progress, everything begins to change. The world doesn't suddenly become easier, you become stronger. Because focus creates clarity, and clarity creates power. You have to understand your focus is your compass. It will always point your life toward what you feed it. You can't focus on fear and expect confidence. You can't focus on the past and expect momentum. You can't focus on what's missing and expect fulfillment. You must direct your focus toward what builds you, your goals, your habits, your vision, your purpose. From this moment forward, decide that you will no longer waste your energy on things that drain you. Decide that you will no longer allow distractions to decide your destiny. Your attention is the most valuable currency you have. Spend it wisely. Because when you master your focus, you master your future. And remember, focus doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. It means waking up every day and choosing progress over excuses, choosing action over anxiety, choosing faith over fear, bit by bit, moment by moment, Your life begins to transform. You're not waiting for the right time. You're creating it right now through your focus. So keep your eyes on where you want to go, not on what's trying to hold you back. Guard your mind, guide your energy, and grow your future, one focused thought at a time. Because what you focus on will always, always shape your future. Thank you for being here and giving your time, your presence, and your energy to this message. I hope it reminded you just how powerful you truly are. You don't need permission to change your life. You just need focus. Go out there and be intentional with your thoughts. Protect your peace. Feed your mind with purpose, because your focus today is building the foundation for your tomorrow. Keep believing, keep moving, and keep focusing forward. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and thank you for listening.